Guys, to the Ahn man, life is, I don't know. You could do everything for people, and they still would just turn on you at a dime, without. I don't. It's too much drama, man. I just need to work. Ignore that shit. Just need to work. It's probably not the best coping strategy just to work, but I mean, I don't. I don't. I don't see any of the. Ah, forget it, man. Some people just don't want to communicate, I guess. I'm the same way. I don't want to talk about it. Let's just get to work. We got stuff to do. Let's get through the fitness regime. And I talked about the textbooks yesterday, so we're going to try that right now. Textbooks on the side. We're going to do our torso exercise. Hopefully train ourselves to be a little bit stronger in the chest area. What I will say though is, in terms of my digestive health, probably not that great. I've eaten too much, um, just in general, and most of the stuff I've eaten doesn't have enough fiber, so it's not passing through my body. So that's something that means like I have a belly bulge right now. It's probably not gonna help me when I'm doing the crunches. Yeah, but yeah, man, just like a lot of drama. Like what the fuck? Ignore that shit. Anyways, that's gonna be confidential stuff anyway, so it's gonna keep it off cam. Alright, you ready? Fitness. So we'll probably start with the stretches. Oh, and they're also positive. I do have friends and like other relatives who are, you know, positive influences in my life. I'm just gonna spend my time with positive influences in my life. Yeah. Productive, useful, friendly, meaningful relationships. Yeah. Ignore the ones that just don't like don't reciprocate. You know, you keep giving and then they just keep spitting in your face. It's fucking weird, bro. Alright. So I got like a pot belly, right? It's pretty ugly. It's alright. The most important thing is just to keep improving and become healthier over time. I think I'm gonna have to find a way to eat something that will make me almost have diarrhea. I don't want to do it, but I might have to get prune juice. There are other alternatives. I do have a few bananas here. I don't know how much that will help. It's also the long weekend. That means that the community center probably isn't open. It means that, in other words, I don't know if I have a chance to use the washroom, have a go at my digestive tract outside of the residence. So I want to, but I don't know if it's possible. But we're gonna give it a shot when we go to the community center. We will be going out today. We go every day, so. But I will be seeing like a friend or so, and helping through his struggles too. And then hopefully also be able to find a place that has some internet access. If not, we will have to do the employment thing tonight at Res. I don't want to do too much employment and career related matters at Res because it's typically not the most. It's not well in sync, right? Doing it at night doesn't feel. I don't know. It's like you've been awake for 12 hours. Typically, if you want to do something that's critically thinking or has more intensive thought and focus and concentration required, you would do that first thing when you wake up. For example, right now I have some pretty solid speech and thinking patterns, but 12 hours into the day, you're going to lose sight of those thinking patterns. Does that sound right? I don't know. Anyways, maybe it just comes and goes with training and practice, but there's another thing, right? I said I would start reading more. I'm definitely going to just read random excerpts from the Johns Hopkins University pharmaceutical drug textbook just to get my head in the right game, because we're going to be also purchasing a course from an optometrist trying to learn optical assistance. Yeah, and we're going to give that a shot. If anything, it will be an experience and I'll learn new material, as well as being able to up my game in the office. I don't know if I would be working. I don't want to work as a receptionist or a front desk agent, but I could work in a clerical area, more like data entry at the very least, or some sort of customer service thing. Any of that would require some basic Excel understanding or basic Microsoft Office and customer service management principles. So I'd like to get to that point. And reading an excerpt here or there from the book actually does train me to be in more of a just smart. I don't think smart's the right word, but I'm more academically inclined, I guess you could say. Right? So that would be a good idea. So let's begin. We'll start with stretches as usual. And I'm probably not going to speak as much when I'm doing the stretches. It's become a very normal state nowadays. It's good timing though. It's about 11, so 11's good. In a way that is consistent with the other day I woke up also at 11, so there's some consistency. Also later on in the day, probably within the next, no, when I say later on in the day, I meant later in the stream. Probably after the exercises, we'll probably cover some purchases made yesterday. Probably later at night. It's the first time I actually purchased any alcohol out of pocket. So I wanted to cover this Malibu coconut rum. But back to the stretches and back to the exercises. Oh, that's something that actually works really well, by the way. Being able to extend my legs all the way in as if it were a knee to the abdomen, and then extending back out again, and then flexing back in. I think that's while keeping in balance, that actually trains more muscle groups at the same time. So maybe we should do that more. Before I was moving the legs straight and laterally, but now we can have full leg movement of all the muscle groups in the leg. So I think that would be more consistent actually with what I've seen previously. Just here and there, like little glimpses of, these commercials, as well as just, I don't even know, maybe it's just like media in general. One of those like flaky memories you get scattered from all your life. But they don't really do it with a straight leg. They kind of move it in and out. So that. Right. We're still gonna do that swimming thing. Just kind of put your legs out, try to go up and down as usual. Nothing changes there. I will say it's important that when I do that, my ass has to be near the edge of the bed, because otherwise I can't get as full of a rotation of the thighs to the posterior part. So I can't get it to turn further back, if you understand what I mean, from the plane, from the superposition. Which is where actually I have the most struggle with when it comes to muscle groups. Not just flexibility, but also just strength in general. Strength, stamina, endurance. Okay, back to the twist. So, knees, elbows, twist. And the other way. Okay. The arms. I have to be careful because I noticed that I do have, in the past 4 or 5 hours, there's been some movement. There's some gastrointestinal movement, and maybe I could have some bowel movement. I'll be honest about the bowel movements. I don't want to. There we go. That's a grumble. I don't want to lose the ability to use the washroom simply because I'm exercising, right? Especially if it becomes a little bit strained when I do the strength and endurance components. I think that tightens your muscles, and I don't want to tighten my muscles to the point that I can't use the washroom in the morning every day, because that's an important health routine that I would like to continue, that I'm having trouble with already. So I have to be careful about that. But it's not that big of a deal either. I imagine if I'll need it, I'll need it. So, alright, sit-ups. I keep saying sit-ups, crunches. know if we're going to do 50, to be honest. We will aim for 50, but again, if we can't do 50 reps because I don't want to restrain the smooth muscle contractions around my abdomen, we'll just do less. I don't know. It's going to be largely kind of improvised as we go. Side. Almost side. Okay, then we'll do leg lifts. Something to note is that clearly when I bend the legs, it is significantly, it's much easier to do the leg lifts when you're bending the legs as opposed to when you have them straight. Straight up, I can barely do even one or two when I have it straight out, and try to maintain that stiffness or maintain the muscle group contract altogether. It's probably, again, not a lot of strength in my thighs, I suppose, and also my core area around the lower back. That's where I feel the pain, and I don't want to hurt my back, right? We don't want to strain our lower back to the point that it actually causes injury. Something about exercising and fitness I have to understand is if I don't apply some level of self-control and self-restraint, I can easily damage my muscles, tendons, and ligaments. I have to be careful about that. I do. Especially if I don't have enough research, which at this point I didn't do very much research. I didn't do any research actually into proper form, proper exercise form and structure, which we will get to eventually, I suppose. Hopefully sooner than later. Do it twice. And now we'll try to do the back bend. Again, I don't think this is good for me given that I have so much food or waste inside my stomach right now, but I'm going to try and do the back bend as well. So let's do it like we did yesterday. And then we'll hold to 8 seconds or so. that wasn't as long as I would like, but I don't believe that the exercise is very beneficial, you know? It's more just like a structural display, if anything else. So now we can do, let's see, I think the most difficult exercises should be done first. So we'll start with the push-ups. Alright, now we'll do the half, so we'll have the broken with the legs bending up. Alright, I think it's time. So first we're going to do the arm and torso and neck shoulder stretch. The upper muscular region around the head, let's just say. And then, so we should do the stretches obviously before the exercises, right? Before we do the actual strength and the reps and stamina endurance. I'm going to get the books. So let's get the textbooks. Raise the camera a bit. I do have a filter applied that makes it hard to see everything. It is reminiscent of the title a little bit. It's not necessarily it's kind of got not some great undertones, which is reflective of the minor excerpt at the beginning of this stream. Too much drama, man. Ignore that shit. Ignore that shit. Just focus on useful stuff, productive stuff. Alright. So there are the two textbooks. So the first one is the Kaplan OAT, the Optometry Admissions Test textbook, 5th edition. This was in 2012 when I purchased. I got this from Amazon. It weighs about 3 to 5 pounds. I'm gonna use this. Well, I'm going to hold it on my left hand or my right hand and move up with these sort of chest compressions, or whatever they're called. Chest curls or something. I need a deep breath. Yeah, push-ups kill me right now. That's not good. Push-ups are supposed to be one of the core fundamentals that I used to do. Anyways, the OAT is maybe about 3 to 5 pounds. It's about 850 pages. We're going to read one page out loud on camera, most likely after we do the exercises, because like I said, I would like to get some mental stimulus back into my brain and start working my ability to aggregate words and phrases and concepts into a more coherent flow of information, to be able to produce proper sentence and paragraph structure and communicate myself, not just properly in a social conversational tone, but in a professional tone, if I am going to be applying for slightly more advanced, even if not advanced, but at least mid-tier entry-level positions. So we will be reading excerpts every day from at least one of these two textbooks. So the first one is the OAT. The second book is the John Hopkins Consumer Guide to Drugs. This is a pharmaceutical and medical textbook that I had purchased from my alma mater, university back in the day, and it was a used textbook. and it has also about, let me see, this one has about 850 pages. So also 3 to 5 pounds, and we're going to be lifting this on our left or right hand. Okay, and we will probably read an excerpt from this as well. Place them on the side. Let's do the torso stretches. Cover this up a little bit. Now we might do the breathing exercises first. Not sure, but do a moment. Alright, I think that's good enough. Now let's do some breathing technique, and then we'll do the lifts. So give some breathing technique. Alright, I think that's enough. Let's do the lifts. Grab one textbook, grab the other. I don't anticipate we'll be able to do very much today. Again, sorry about the whole... I'm trying to cover myself up. I could put a shirt on. I don't know, maybe I'll get like an undershirt later. Okay, whatever. Touch And this is not the optimal way of doing things. I will say, once again, I'm just redoing as an example of what I used to do in a makeshift way, because I didn't have weights before. Now I do have weights, so I could use them. But we're gonna do maybe 1 week of this just for, not 1 week, maybe like 3 days, 2-3 days, just to get into what we used to do, and then we'll probably add just weights, and then eventually we'll add weights and a textbook to increase the weight by a lot. All right, begin. So there's some troubleshooting. I noticed that the bed is too close to the wall. I can't fit the textbooks all the way down. So just gotta give it more space. Let's move the chair a little bit. And again, it's important when I do this, I put most time and effort when my arms are closer to the ground, parallel to the floor. Switch arms actually. Alright, I think that was about 10 reps. How do I feel after that? Feel pretty good. Let me lie down. before we do the speech thing, give me a second. Okay, try and get some balance. Try to stand on my tiptoes a second to see if I could feel any sense of balance. Okay, what we want to do now is so we should do some vocal fry. So I think the what they do for this is you have to stand up. Let me put on a shirt. Like a vocal warm-up sort of exercise, like a vocal speech pattern thing. You gotta loosen your chest up a bit, I guess. Loosen the diaphragm. And if I remember right, it's more like you blow into your lips. Kind of like that. Except I'm not quite doing it properly right now. Maybe it's just because like I'm on camera for the first time, like doing this on camera. So I'm not putting as much effort consciously. But we're gonna get comfortable with it over time. There we go. And it goes from a high pitch to low pitch to high. I saw this on a video back in the day from, I believe, a coach called Eric Arsenault. I didn't see maybe only 3-4 of his videos, that's it. The whole point of this isn't, I'm not trying to sing, right? I'm just trying to be able to have a natural sounding voice and correct years of misbehavior and damage. Bodily, mental abuse. Fix it, correct it. And he would, I think you also go down means. And it changes your actual structure of your body, because apparently the whole singing thing is a whole body gets involved. Now I imagine even speaking, you would want to do that. After all, they have something called body language, right? So, okay. And then there were other things like a vocal fry, where you make the, if you guys watch the movie The Grudge, it's kind of that noise, the crackling sound. I don't remember what that does. And then there's one where he sticks his tongue out, so it's like and that just sort of opens your mouth out, opens your musculature, your facial muscles. So you have a fuller expression of you speak more fully, more openly. All right, so we're going to start practice reading, right? So the great news about this is, first of all, the Kaplan textbook I have not read in more than 6 years, right? Or maybe 8 years, actually. That's more appropriate. That was the last time I took the test. And then the other one is the John Hopkins Drugs. I have not read that in any shape or form whatsoever. I only bought it because I was interested at the time of being a med student. So let's crack open the textbook. We'll read one excerpt from each page. Well, we'll start off with a cover, I guess, but since this is the first time. From America's #1 medical center, the John Hopkins Consumer Guide to Drugs. Over 3,000 prescription and OTC medications, including special section on dietary supplements. how relevant, right, to use on health scientists. Easy to use A to Z format, 600 color photos, food and drug interactions. I want to read the back cover as well. It sounds more interesting, but we'll save that for tomorrow. So we flip open a page. There's a little bit of a sticker here. Compliments of York Downs Pharmacy, Compounding Pharmacists. So I'm reading a book used by pharmacists. It has main floor dispensing, and then it gives the phone number, 1-800 and the 416. Sterile injection lab, again the local number and the 1888. Open it. There it is. So John Hopkins Consumer Guide to Drugs, medical editor Simeon Margoli, MD, PhD. So medical doctor, philosophy of doctor. I don't know. Prepared by the editors of the John Hopkins Medical Letter, Health After 50. The John Hopkins Medical Letter, Health After 50. I'm not sure if I pronounced it right. And Rebus, New York, is the publishing company. I notice my arms are tired enough even just from pulling the textbook, so it does carry some natural weight. Let's read inside. Publishers: John Hopkins Health After 50 Publications. So www.hopkinsafter50.com. The John Hopkins Consumer Guide to Drugs is one of many indispensable medical publications for consumers from America's leading health center. I can't show you this on the screen because obviously for copyright reasons, right? I'm just going to read it to you and give my commentary over it and say this is good practice for me because I really do like medical terminology. That's in my alleyway, kind of STEM oriented. We publish comprehensive reference encyclopedias, including the John Hopkins Consumer Guide to Medical Tests and John Hopkins Symptoms and Remedies. White papers providing in-depth information on specific disorders such as coronary heart disease, arthritis, and diabetes, and the John Hopkins Medical Letter, Health After 50, our monthly 8-page newsletter that presents recommendations from Hopkins experts on medical issues that affect you. I'm just going to quickly glance and skim over the paragraph, get a sense of the structure, because something that I used to do very well was I would be able to break down the main core message. I had very good reading comprehension back in the day. I was very shit in a lot of skills, but one thing that I realized I was good at was understanding what an author or writer or speaker is trying to convey. And I had only been able to accept that back in the day because I had very low self-esteem and self-worth and confidence issues back then due to the abuse. But the fact is, back then I was able to receive some sense of actual feedback that I was good at that, and that came directly from the OAT admissions test. I scored a straight 100%, and I believe it was one of the only other things I scored 100 on. I didn't expect that, actually. I thought I would receive a lot less because I don't believe I finished that section. But it goes to show that they were really measuring my comprehension more than completion. Although completion is a factor of it, of course, because it does take time to understand the main message. And the faster you understand the core message, the higher you are evaluated as in that particular area. Speed has a role in IQ. Okay. Although it wasn't an IQ test anyways, though. So the book is not intended as a substitute for the advice and expertise of a physician or a pharmacist. Good. Readers who suspect they have specific medical problems should consult a physician about any suggestions made in the book. Let's finish the excerpt. All of our publications provide timely information for everyone concerned with taking control of his or her own health and medical care, using clear, non-technical language that is easy to understand. And they all come from the century-old tradition of John Hopkins excellence. Visit us online at www. I'm going to use a very TTS, text-to-speech, or commercial voice, a commercial lady voice. Visit us online at www.hopkinsafter50.com, for health and medical updates, as well as information on our publications. For a trial subscription to our newsletter, you can call 386-447-6313 or write to Subscription Department Health after 50, P.O. Box 420179, Palm Coast, FL, Florida 32142. How was that? That was a bit more feminine. Let's try the masculine voice. Let's say a male narrator. Visit us online at www.hopkinsafter50.com for health and medical updates, as well as information on our publications. For a trial subscription to our newsletter, you can call 386-447-6313 or write to Subscription Department Health after 50, P.O. Box 420179, Palm Coast, FL, Florida 32142. Not bad, right? Alright, so voice actor. No, not voice actor. Alright, table contents. Oh, this feels good. I felt like I've been living with... Who have I been living with? Oh, God. Who am I surrounded with? You know, your circle of influence completely dictates what kind of person you are. I can't tell you how. Jesus. Alright. Table of contents. Let's read out the first 5 entries to the table of contents, and then we'll read out a first paragraph, and then we'll switch to the Kaplan OAT. Alright? This is fun. I'm finding this actually to be really interesting. I haven't done this in a long time. I haven't read properly in a long time, and I haven't read out loud in at least a decade. I can say that. Like I would read in my head, right? But not like this. Okay. So the table of contents is actually further in than I expected. This section is designed to help guide you to information about the drugs that appear in this book, as they are classified for use to treat specific disorders. Beneath each major category, for example the heart and blood vessels, you will find the various disorders, such as hypertension, that belong to that category, followed by a list of the drugs used to treat that disorder. So once again, you find organization, information systems are typically oriented around function, which is pretty important, as opposed to just general phylogeny or taxonomy, as you would in, say, biological phenomena, so the species classifications system. But medicine is a largely functional versus a structure. It's more function than structure. So it's about purpose. It's about what you use the information for, obviously. It's about the doctor cracking out the book so that he can make a prescription to his patients and better their lives. It is very ethically, it has a moral, it has a useful, it has a purpose, a goal-driven context, much like engineering as opposed to pure science. So that's why the organization would be, of course, organized in terms of pathology and diseases, as opposed to just types of medication. It's more about how the medication is used. You will find the various disorders such as hypertension that belong together, followed by a list of drugs. If you want to find information about a particular drug directly, look it up in the general index in the back of the book, page 830, or if you know the drug's generic name, you can find it simply by flipping through the book, which is organized in alphabetical order by generic drug name. The disorders featured in this index are grouped under the following general categories. And so this is what I said when I said I wanted to read the table contents aloud. 1, 2, 1, 2, up to 17, but we'll read just the first 9. So 1, cancer, of course. 2, the blood. 3, the blood and nervous system. The brain and nervous system, sorry. 4, dental and oral disorders. 5, the digestive system. 6, the ears, nose, and throat. So these are the special senses, we would call them. 7, the endocrine system. 8, the eyes. That's my kind of area of focus. I like to focus on the eyes. 9, the heart and blood vessels. So let's crack out one particular drug. We'll just flip at random, maybe not randomly, we'll start at the beginning. maybe near the beginning. So albuterol, I don't know what that drug is. Side effects, serious. Inhaled form may become ineffective if used too often, resulting in more severe breathing difficulty than that does not improve. Signs include persistent wheezing, coughing and shortness of breath, confusion, bluish color to lips or fingernails, inability to speak. Ingested form, chest pain and heaviness, irregular racing, fluttering or pounding heartbeats, lightheadedness, fainting, severe weakness, severe headache. So those are the side effects. The principal uses of albuterol: to dilate air passages in the lungs that have become narrowed as a result of disease or inflammation. It is used in the treatment of asthma and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD. Oh, okay. Chronic obstructive. So one thing I have to notice about myself, as I started to read aloud for the first time, which is today, I have to make sure I keep saying I have. That's not a good way to start any sentence. That kind of boxes you in. I should or I can. Let's start with I can. So that's a better word. What would be better is if I could. What would be better is if I could actually read while also understanding what I'm reading. So right now, my understanding of what I'm reading is not keeping up with what I'm actually saying orally. So I would like to be able to understand while I'm speaking. Understand, let me repeat that. Understand while I'm speaking. Which probably means right now at this point in my development, I should just, as I'm re-engaging with information and consuming of information, the consumption of information, I should read slower. Okay, so let's just read slower. Let's do that again. Principal uses, and I'm going to try to understand what I'm reading. To dilate air passages in the lungs that have become narrowed as a result of disease or inflammation. It is used in the treatment of asthma and chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder. So I actually understood it this time. How the drug works. Albuterol widens constricted airways by relaxing the smooth muscles that surround the bronchial passages in the lungs. I also realized that reading a nonfiction textbook makes me very monotone. This is not the kind of content that you want to put on. This is not going to blow. Well, actually, my regular content doesn't blow up anyways. It's not what it's for. It's for self-improvement purposes, right? But even so, if I want to make this of additional utility, I want to gain as much as I can out of this. It would obviously be better if I created content that was actually worth listening or reading to. It's fine to have a voiceover acting as, say a commercial lady or commercial man giving an infomercial in that tone for 30 seconds. But I shouldn't be reading in that tone like a radio. I shouldn't be reading like a text-to-speech robot TTS monotone for my entire speech, which is I recognize what I'm doing too often. Even if it's non-fiction, I could read it as if it were a fiction. I could read it as if it were a story, right? I could put more emotion, practice. Let's do that for the next paragraph and then close this book. Dosage. Use it when needed to relieve breathing difficulty. For bronchospasm, 1 to 2 puffs of aerosol inhaler every 4 to 6 hours, or 2.5 milligrams of solution delivered in nebulizer 3 to 5 times a day. I don't know what nebulizer is. Or 200 micrograms mcg of capsules for inhalation using rotahaler every 4 to 6 days. Now, hours, not days. These other cross-references must be things that some of them are out of date. Remember, do not listen to any of this for medical advice. Do not, this is me just reading. I'm just reading out loud and practicing comprehension and speaking in general. It's practicing a lot of things, speech, storytelling, nonfiction, learning, understanding. Next, use 2 to 4 milligrams of tablets 3 or 4 times a day, not to exceed 32 milligrams per day. Children may require a smaller dose, not a surprise, and the syrup form of the drug may be preferable to young patients. So they have something along the lines of a cough droplet. For a chewable tablet, For prevention of exercise-induced asthma, 1 to 2 inhalations, at least 1 full minute apart. and 15 minutes prior to exercise. Okay, so that's that, and we just covered, I believe, albuterol. So albuterol sounds like sounds like a steroidal drug. Put it aside, and let's get a deep breath here. Let's stop for about 45 seconds. Maybe lie down, and then we'll start reading an excerpt from the other passage. From the other book. All right. Perfect. Now let's crack out the second book. So this is the Kaplan. Sorry, let me cover that up. I've got a. Yeah, I should button my shirt, shouldn't I don't do exercise with my shirt on because it's just. Look, if you exercise with your shirt on, doesn't it just smudge all the? I guess it's better than smudging it on the bed. I suppose I don't know what it means by that, but it's just not very comfortable when, let's say, I do some sit-ups or push-ups and then do some exercise and then I have my shirt on, and then I'm capturing things as is. What I will do though is, given that I've been doing this for about a week now, I think it makes sense that I do put on my shirt after this because it's not new anymore, right? I want to capture a recording of myself doing things as is and then improve and grow from that and then do things as I newly would. But the funny thing is with this is that I'm not going to start putting on my shirt when I do my exercises. That's why it's a pain in the ass, it's a hassle. If I'm going to be exercising every single day, it's just I don't want to put my shirt on every single day just to go on camera. But I recognize that that's what I might have to do. Sad face. All right, if we have to do it, we'll do it. Goddamn. Kaplan. OAT, optometry emission test. So this is going to be fun. This is going to be something that I've actually read before. I probably won't remember a single thing. I won't remember a dime, but it's something that I really enjoy. It takes me back, right? There's some nostalgia here. Again, I cannot show you the text for copyright reasons, but this is something that I have read before, and I'm gonna read out loud right now, starting with the front cover. So this is the Kaplan OAT, Optometry Admission Test, 5th edition, Comprehensive Review, Practice, and Strategies. 2 full-length practice tests, 1 in the book, 1 online. Detailed answer explanations, comprehensive content review, and proven test-taking strategies. Includes high-yield charts and diagrams throughout, as well as full-color removable study sheets featuring condensed biology, chemistry, and physics information and formulae, it should be, about portable study, but formulas has also become part of vernacular now. Higher score guaranteed. OAT is registered. Oh no, actually it might be formulas. That's my mistake. I might be wrong about that because formulas is actually well accepted as an alternative in the States. I believe this is from the States. That's why. OAT is registered trademark of the Association of Schools and Colleges of Optometry, which neither sponsors nor endorses this product. Or your money back. Or that's not part of the same sentence. It's just right below it. So, or your money back. Conditions apply. See inside for details. That is such a commercial excerpt right there. Wow. All right, let's move in. It's a little exciting here, right? It's a little exciting. Kaplan higher score. No. what we'll do is we'll add some variation. So if I read the publishing information in some sense for the John Hopkins drugs nonfiction, I won't read it here until tomorrow, and then we'll switch the other way around. So we'll just dive right into table of contents, and then a paragraph to begin. So the contents is pretty extensive for this one. We'll just do the introduction contents, partial contents. So introduction about the OAT optometry admission test, Kaplan's OAT strategies, Kaplan's OAT mastery guide, how to use this book, and those are all prefaced with Roman numerals, so 7, 10, 13, and 18. So XVIII. Section 1, reading comprehension, what we just talked about. Reading comprehension practice test, page 3. Reading comprehension practice test answers and explanations. Section 2 of the Kaplan OAT, quantitative reasoning. Chapter 1, arithmetic. Chapter 2, algebra. Chapter 3, plane geometry. So there's some mathematics included in here, of course. Chapter 4, solid geometry. Chapter 5, coordinate geometry. And Chapter 6, trigonometry. So these are all the calculus and mathematics focused disciplines. If we flip over now to maybe the first page, we'll start the page on reading comprehension. Since, well, I think that's the first portion. No, the introduction. So about the OAT, we'll begin here, right? And I'm going to read the first page only because, as I said, we're tight on time. But we can read the first 4 paragraphs, and then this will practice our speech, our oral explanation, as well as verbal communication skills. So, and remember, we want to read and understand at the same time that we speak. We don't want to just blur and speed run through everything. I know that there is such a thing as speed reading. I know that I've even purchased a book, an ebook about speed reading. But right now, I want to understand what I'm reading. So, and then afterwards, we'll start practicing speed reading once we've gotten accustomed to reading in general. I shouldn't start speed reading too late, I recognize, because there are certain habits I want to pick up while I'm relearning to read. Because I know that even back then, I did not read in the most efficient manner, and I would like to read and learn faster. Time is everything, right? Time is everything. Make it snappy. So what I might do actually, here's an idea. After the exercises, and I do some reading, and I do some reading for just reading's sake, and reading for comprehension and understanding. Maybe the third phase might be I might be reading, separating like voice actors, right? And then the fourth phase, separating into a storytelling. So putting emotion, putting some comedy, some satire, some some slang, and then afterwards some commentary, and then into maybe the fifth phase of reading. So this takes about half an hour. The fifth phase of reading, we'll probably start reading using the speed reading techniques, and we'll be experimenting throughout how to process as much information as we can while still understanding it. And I presume that I will come to some sort of better revelations and understanding as I practice speed reading and also practice understanding what I'm reading. So, about the OAT, or the optometry admissions test. First paragraph. The optometry admission test, affectionately known as the OAT, is different from any other test you've encountered in your academic career. So you can already tell this is more like narration. It's got less nonfiction. Unlike the John Hopkins drug book I just read, that one was very descriptive. This is not descriptive text. This is sort of prescriptive. It's almost conversational, as if someone is speaking to you directly. It's not like the knowledge-based, so I'm going to switch my voice and my tone to shift towards as if I were speaking to someone and someone speaking to you. So it's different, and again, I cannot show you the text because, again, copyright information purposes, I will not be able to tell you, I cannot show you this visually. I don't want to do that. It is different from any other test you've encountered in your academic career. It's not like the knowledge-based exams from high school or in college, whose emphasis was on memorizing and regurgitating information. Optometry schools can assess your academic prowess by looking at your transcript, but the OAT isn't even like other standardized tests you may have taken, where the focus was on proving your general skills. The Optometry Admission Test, OAT, was developed by the American Optometry Association and is sponsored by the Association of Schools and Colleges of Optometry, www.oped.com. That's www.opted.org. In brackets. All schools and colleges of optometry require candidates to submit OAT scores for admission. The OAT is designed to predict general academic ability and measure the two skills needed for future optometrists: scientific knowledge and analytical ability. So that's something that I'm understanding right now. Remember, I have forgotten almost everything about the optometry admission test, including what it is really testing for. So as I said, understanding, I recognize now that the OAT is testing the relevant information and skill set required for optometrists, specifically one, scientific knowledge, so that's a technical skill, and then two is analytical ability, which is still a technical skill, I would say, but well, actually both of these are technical skills, but one has more rote memorization and the other one is more logical thinking and deduction, or just having good judgment and rationale, which is why there would be mathematics and reading comprehension in here. I will make a disclaimer. Clearly this is the 5th edition, right? So this is like 2011 edition. I am well aware that they probably have changed the OAT admission test. Nowadays it probably does not. This is not, again, as I'm reading this, do not take any advice from this. This is not a stream for advice. Please don't do this. Consult a professional, buy the up-to-date books, seek your guidance counselor. Do not come to these streams for any sort of advice in anything, in health, medical, finance. I'm just practicing reading and practicing communication, practicing learning, practicing my scientific knowledge, practicing applying this into the real world when I get back into a career and a job that is focused on this. This is not for any advice. That is a sort of legal disclaimer I have to include here, all right? The information I'm speaking about is probably also out of date, right? If you're going to take the OAT today, the optometry admission test in 2022, it's not the same as taking the OAT in 2012 when I took it, all right? So you're 10 years, one full decade outdated. Granted, maybe it still stayed the same, but I don't know. Let's continue. We have 2 more paragraphs, okay? If this does this by testing your knowledge of physics, chemistry, and biology, your reading comprehension ability, and your quantitative reasoning skills. Let me reread that again. That's important. This is the thesis. This is the summary sentence of the paragraph. It does this by testing your knowledge of physics, chemistry, and biology, your reading comprehension ability, and quantitative reasoning skills, which I remember taking the test and being tested on all 5 of those areas. Perfect. 2 more paragraphs. Optometry schools use OAT scores to assess whether you possess the foundation upon which to build a successful career in optometry. Though you certainly need to know the content to do well, the stress is on thought process, right? Which is down my alleyway as someone who likes philosophy, because the OAT is above all else a thinking test. The OAT is above all a thinking test, which is why I did so well. Now, I have to emphasize, one thing that I really appreciate nowadays is that I test myself in many other ways outside of just thinking tests. I think this is the main caveat in schooling, is that in education, you should be doing tests not just in thought process, which is, sometimes some teachers and schools and institutions don't cover enough thought process. But my experience, I think mostly everyone's, is going to be that obviously education has more bias on thought and thinking rather than it does about managing your emotions or being physically active. Right, there are fitness tests, there are financial tests, like personal finance tests. There is just general emotional management tests and relationship. So that kind of stuff isn't really covered in education, which maybe it shouldn't be covered there anyways, because maybe it's not relevant. But that's something to keep in mind. The OAT is, again, it's a very niche admission test for optometrists, focused on the skill sets that they need, which is including reasoning, critical and analytical thinking, reading comprehension, data analysis, and problem solving. So these are the skills that are needed for this particular career. That's about it. There are many other aspects of life that you should continually to test, gain feedback, and actively apply to improve yourself on. So optometry schools use OAT scores, optometry missions, to assess whether you possess the foundation upon which to build a career in optometry. Though you certainly need to know the content to do well, the stress is on thought process because the OAT is above all else a thinking test, not a physical fitness test, not an emotional management test, not a personal finance test. It is a careers-oriented professional thinking test. That's why it emphasizes reasoning, critical and analytical thinking, reading comprehension, data analysis, and problem-solving skills. Plenty of experience there. The OAT's power comes from its use as an indicator of your abilities. Good scores can open doors. Your power comes from preparation and mindset, because the key to the optometry admission test, the OAT, is success is knowing what you're up against. Preparation. Again, I've heard this even in the workplace, even when I'm volunteering, even when I'm outside all the time. Preparation is key. Preparation and planning makes all the difference, and that's something I should actually do more frequently on the live streams. In fact, a recent business convention at Usana Health Sciences, the CEO or the vice president VP, I can't remember his name. I believe VP John something. I remember the executive vice president Dan Masuga, but the vice president Jim Brown, I believe, VP Jim Brown of Usana Health Sciences, mentioned that he was asked a question of how does he put his nerves and anxiety aside when presenting for 50,000 people online, 4,000 people live. And he says, well, everyone gets nerves. If you don't get nerves, you're not human. Everyone has anxiety. That's normal. However, one thing that helps me really well, he says, which is something that I used to do a lot more than I do today and I want to get back into, is he says preparation is, I plan out my live streams. I prepare for them, and I rehearse. So preparation is everything. Preparation, planning, and organization. So planning, and doing it ahead of stream. So that's something to apply on these particular live streams. I know that it's good to have structure now, right? I mean, I've always used to have structure. Took away some structure. Now I'm reintroducing structure in a more functional way. So the last paragraph here, finally, over here, the OAT power comes from abilities, have good scores, open doors. Power comes from preparation and mindset. Because the key to OAT success is knowing what you're up against. And that's where this section of this book comes in. We'll explain the philosophy behind the test, review the sections one by one, share some of Kaplan's proven methods, and clue you into what the test makers are really after. You'll get a handle on the process, find a confident new perspective, and achieve your highest possible scores. End first page. So that's the two textbooks that we've read today. I imagine it would help me. Now it was good that the second book had a bit of narration style writing. I would like to crack open a third book that is not nonfiction. Or it is nonfiction. It's nonfiction in a sense. There's a book I have here called Hormageddon, and it focuses on the concept of a little bit of an extremely bad thing. It produces extremely beneficial results. So a little bit of a really bad thing is really, really good for you, in layman's terms, right? Let me say it again. A little bit of a horrible, really bad thing is very, very, very beneficial, very good for you, very positive for you. So it's a little bit like that desensitization to tragedy. And that book there, it's nonfiction, but it reads like almost like a story, like a fiction book. So maybe we can crack open that one. If not, we'll have to think of, maybe we might borrow a book from the library, or find a book online that we can read that is more fiction oriented. I remember when I was a kid, I read a book on Red Wall. It had a lot of made up language, but and accents, accentuation, and dialect. But I do think that would be helpful to have some fiction books. I do have to balance my time, of course. I can't be reading. For example, today, this is the first time I spent reading out loud in a long time and trying to understand sort of a content heavy material. Um, it took me about 45 minutes, didn't it? I'm not checking behind the camera right now, so I have no idea. But I'm fairly certain that took about 45 minutes. I should not spend 45 minutes reading every single day. I don't have time for that, especially if this material is not focused on the specific career that I am applying for right now. I'm not applying to be an optometrist yet. Yet. Um, I will be taking a course on optometric assistanting, or optical, not dispensing, but optometric assistance. So maybe I could read something like that. But even then, that's still nonfiction. We want to add some variation, all right? So especially if we're going to be doing some content creation, it's important to have some emotion, some excitement. One caveat about introducing emotion is that it's very easy to go off the rails. That's one of my weaknesses, is because I don't have enough emotional experience and emotional management experience, that I can't go off the rails when I introduce too much emotion. I can maintain very good posture and composure when I'm reading something objective and descriptive and scientific, but the moment you introduce emotion and I try to play around with that, things tend to veer off course. And that's sort of in line with emotion in general, actually. When you use emotion, you do sound more like a dumbass depending on how you use that emotion. I would say that there has to be a good incorporation of both cognitive utility as well as emotional utility. So add some emotion, but also add some substance. And then, the confidence combined with the intellect and the actual utility of the content itself, right? If it's useful, engaging, interesting content, and you deliver it in the right way, um, with the right emotions, but also with the right composure, right? I'm not sure if confidence can be considered an emotion. It's more like a skill, I would say, and a mindset. If you can deliver all those things correctly, uh, I believe that even with emotional speaking, you can sound uh, very engaging, very entertaining, and be very educational. We already have lots of examples of that. So let's get towards that point, okay? So that's the first two excerpts here I read. I'm going to see if the washroom's clear. Again, it's probably there's a lot of people in the house, so I'm going to check if the washroom's clear. If it's not, then we'll just get ready to go outside and see if there's a washroom at the community center, because there's so much conflict and clashing, and maybe I can use the washroom over there. Give me a second. Let's check if it's filled. So we did exercise. We did some learning. We did some reading. So someone's in the washroom right now, so we can do something else. Most likely we'll just get dressed, I guess. Um, is there anything else I need to do? Maybe we can highlight some streams, because I think it'd be smart if I used the washroom before I left. What I'm going to do is turn on the laptop. I'm going to turn on the laptop and we're going to highlight some streams. So maybe another 3. We're trying to catch up to current day live streams. So we're going to go to the laptop and save the VODs, the video on demand, as a live stream, and publish it so that it doesn't get lost through time. Okay. Where are the glasses? Naturally, as I'm doing this, I'll be speaking less because there's not a whole lot to talk about compared to me actually narrating a nonfiction book. It's just not the same. Actually, in addition to that, something really important. I want to show you something here. This is a package that I prepared for my biological mother. This is a birthday gift. Unfortunately, because of the drama, I don't know what's going on. They don't seem to be in a very good mood, so I'm not going to give it to them yet. But it was a birthday gift. It's sad because I was really excited I was happy the other day preparing this birthday gift, and then suddenly I don't even know what happened. They're so negative. So I'm just going to ignore that, and we'll do this another day. Instead, we have made a purchase from an alcohol store with my buddy last time, and last night there's this Malibu coconut rum.
So we have this here, and that's about something else. I kind of drank away a little bit yesterday. I don't know what happened. But when the time is right, we'll give this over, all right? So we did some reading, and now we're going to update the live streams. So let's turn on the laptop. We'll get ready, and then we'll go. Okay? I'm going to find my glasses because I have really poor vision. That's one of those weaknesses I need to improve on. I don't believe that I can actually change my vision or my degree of eyesight. Okay, wait, hold on. The washroom's clear. Give me a second. All right, so reading, exercise, learning, washroom, live stream. So let's get the glasses on, okay, and let's publish the material online. And then we actually have to see a friend today. We also have another reunion with my cousins the next week. Again, confidential stuff. I won't give any dates, no names, nothing like that, for privacy reasons. So there's no confidential information. But the point is, I do have several appointments and bookings and stuff like that. So we also have to get in touch with people like that. But that's after the live stream. Okay. So let's update everything. Okay, so twitch.tv.ahn. Let me move the ring light a little closer. I just realized that my voice actually is, once again, 2 octaves below. Here, plug it in. Alright, so we'll go to content producer. And let's see. Content producer. Okay, so I think we have to open two windows, one for YouTube and one for Twitch. Let's dive all the way down and see where we left off. If we have one deadpan task, if we have deadpan task, if we have. Okay, how to patch? Alright, so let's actually get all the way up to date. So we only have 3 live streams until we are up to date with the current live stream. So if I can move this first and the next 2, I will be actually up to date with August the 4th. So the current live stream, I won't be editing today, but I will be able to publish immediately after tomorrow. Okay. So we go to quarantine 001 and place it down here. Okay, so September 4th, we'll add a new entry. Actually, this isn't even the right live stream, so I'm going to get that type out of the way. 05. Let me check the date. And this is one of those difficult parts that I keep forgetting. I actually need to have 3 spreadsheets open in order to do this properly. So the first spreadsheet actually covers the content that I try to display on the live stream. The second spreadsheet covers content that is like a scheduler, like content management schedule. And then the third spreadsheet is something along the lines of the description of the content that's being published. So it would be the bio description or something like that. Okay. So copy and paste over to the description. We'll change the category to just chatting. And we'll add to rebirth. And save changes. Passion life. This is let me check the date. Sorry, I'm trying to find the date here. So August 31st. It's possible that on August 31st I would made an entry here, so. So August 31st is done. So then this one has to be the September the 1st. Copy and paste. Get the description. This one will leave as talk shows and podcasts. Save change. And then the last one here we'll do highlights for the September 1st live stream. Alright, so something I have to mention. It seems like I'm wrong, alright? So I'm wrong about this particular stream being the last one, because actually there's other highlights and live streams being dotted together, so they're interwoven. I thought that actually it would be the end of all the live streams I have to highlight, but there's actually more. Specifically from the 2nd, September 2nd, 3rd, and obviously today's. So we can do those particular live streams later when we come back. And there's actually 2 live streams on September 3rd, so. Ahn Rho. Okay, and then we'll group the data here because on Excel spreadsheet, you're allowed to group rows together. Okay, so that's that. Get the description, copy, paste once again, and just chatting. Again, I don't believe it makes any difference whether I put it on talk shows or just chatting. It's all the same either way. Right now, I'm not going to be doing this for anything except for self-improvement. Okay, and then we'll add to playlist, rebirth, save changes. Okay, so there we're finished with 3 live streams. I have to keep in mind that it's not going to be Monday. I just realized that I had to make a phone call to customer service on Tuesday, not Monday, for the side business, because it's a long weekend. So I should mention that actually. I should write that down on Excel actually. So give me a second, I'm going to make a note of that. It's a long weekend. Actually, right now in 001, we should write down all the updates we had today. So we did some learning. Okay, so, well, let's take notes, about 5 lines of notes on a note block on reading. So not just reading, learning in general, conceptual understanding, communication. These are going to be very brief notes, by the way. We're just going to shorten it down to like 2-3 words. If we can. If we can, I don't know. So that's fiction. Fiction. Non-fiction learning. Education. Storytelling and narration, I would say. No, narration, I'm sorry. Narration and storytelling are different. Because you can narrate something that is non-fiction as well. So, for example, the book or novel on Armageddon. So, okay, so let me correct that. narration should be using different voices, so like the voice patterns. Whether you do a female lead or a male lead, it's just so for example, like, let me give an excerpt. I'm going to grab the textbook again. So earlier we just read, like, so there's two different voices, like, so you can provide different voiceovers. So if I were to do, here's one. Let's say it's like a 1990s infomercial, and you're reading this at, at night at like channel 5. All claims for refunds must be received by Simon & Schuster within 90 days of the date of this book's purchase. Excludes book postage, handling, and sales tax. One offer per person and address. Refunds will be issued, and blah blah blah. So that sounds very formal and almost like a male or voice commentator explaining some sort of sales or voice overing some legal information, right? That's very different. We also have something that's generally more captivating, right? So if you're narrating in a first person sort of way, here's something here. Let's go to the introduction again. So the OAT, affectionately known as OAT, is different from any other test you've ever encountered in your academic career. So already there's a tone shift when you're speaking to a person as opposed to speaking to a general audience who you don't know. And I believe that narration can be also voice acting. So let's put that two together. They're not the same. Just to be clear, voice acting and narration are not the same, but they're in the same field, right? It's the same kind of skill. Let's say you're giving an interview, it's the same thing. Okay. And then there's also speed reading, so we'll include speed reading and consuming information. Or, speed reading could be understood as information consumption. That's the way I put it. But it's about doing things as quickly as you possibly can. And I remember they used a lot of methods and techniques such as chunking and so on and so forth. So I'll actually make mention of some of those terms and methods into this note. And then the last form of reading I would say is that I'm going to practice is, or not just reading, but learning in general, is understanding, right? This is something that I already don't really need too much practice with, but I want to be able to understand on the fly. So let's say you're learning a new skill on the job and your employer has something to teach you, and he hands you a manual or he shows you in person. You don't want to spend a couple hours learning the skill. It gives a kind of a bad impression. We want to be able to efficiently learn things as fast as we can while maintaining some precision and accuracy in the skill that we're learning. And one way we can try to practice is, this one's theoretical, it's not really in practice, but it's more in understanding what we are reading. So reading comprehension, in other words. So let's type that down. Reading comprehension and understanding. So that's the reading block. Now, in addition to the reading block, we actually have other things that we've included in today that have been updated. So for example, when we're doing the exercise, we didn't write this down. We didn't put this into the Excel spreadsheet the other day, which we should have. So we actually used the textbooks, the torso and shoulders, and I have to learn anatomy again. So why don't we just open a new tab and search up the anatomy of the torso, right? Of the shoulder, right? And this is not the best. I have a textbook on analogy, but on anatomy, sorry. Analogy, anatomy, they're different. But I don't want to pull it out because it's somewhere in one of those crates. Instead, there's a lot faster and more efficient way of learning. And that way to learn is just to go online. There are so many resources online that will teach you things like the human body's structure, the muscles, the ligaments. So right now, if I go to images on Google Images, I want to see, um, let's go to just general Wikipedia. Wikipedia is good enough for this purpose, so we're gonna go there. Okay, hold on. We made a mistake there. We said anatomy of the torso, but we didn't say muscle anatomy of the torso. I'm looking for the muscle anatomy. Muscle and skeletal. Okay. Muscle of the torso. And we'll go to images, see if we can find one there that covers. There's a good one. And I'm going to zoom in if I can. Charter Products UK. That's not quite it. Okay, this one's good. So this is actually somebody's notes. It's not a textbook, but the very back that joins seems to be the arm and the neck, at the back of the neck, is the trapezius. It seems to be, I could do the infraspinatus, the teres minor. They also talk about the biceps, so I'm wondering which one is the biceps. But all these particular muscles that I'm going to be training up here with the textbook. So we had two kind of like chest exercises. This is different from, say, crunches or the leg lifts or the pull-ups, or we don't do pull-ups, or the half push-ups. This is or the full body or the backing arch. This is a chest, like a strength training sort of exercise. So 2 books on the side. And it was the old version. So this is not the best way to do it, right? Starting maybe starting on Monday. So just I don't know. Let's give it 2 more days. So on Tuesday we will actually strap on the weights onto my wrists when we're doing the exercise. So, and then maybe within 2 weeks time, we want to strap on the 2 weights onto my arms. And then after that, we'll be strapping on like 2 weights plus the textbooks on each arm. So that would be like 10 pounds, 15 pounds, something like that, to increase the load. Okay, so we'll say incremental increase in weights. So that's that. What else was updated in exercise? Because I know we did something different as well on the exercise. It wasn't just the books. There was some troubleshooting. Right, so the leg lifts. Actually, the leg lifts. Not the leg lifts. It's like the back kick. So when you're preparing for like taekwondo, I have this area of my leg where I'm actually really bad at. I have very poor, I don't have a lot of strength on my back legs, like the back of my thighs. Again, I don't know the muscles for this, so that's also something I should learn. But the back leg lift, the posterior leg, let's not say lift, it's like a leg kick and hold. A leg kick and hold. right? We can bend the knees. We can bend. No, full muscle control activity. Okay, so that's a bunch of stuff on exercise. Now we should also include one for timing. So timing the duration. It took too long, but it took like an hour or so. So like 1 to 2 hours. And then we also did something different today. We practiced reading and speech. So something included under reading as well, or not included under it, but in addition to it, is we actually practiced a little bit of vocal fry, a little bit of vocals. So vocal training. And again, this is not vocal training for singing. we're not gonna sing. We're not gonna do any sort of music, or that's not what it's about, right? It's not about trying to, like, that's just very not practical. It's not practical at all. I'm not using it for singing, I'm using it for speech. So we're doing vocals to open the voice, to become a better narrator, to become a better and more effective speaker, to when we're speaking to our colleagues, to the interviewer, right? Where we're trying to practice communication. But we're trying to not just practice the method of communication, but there's, for me, one of my other personal problems is the voices. For me, I hear my voice when I hear it in my ears. My voice is very deep, but when I actually say it, I recognize on live stream, and now I realize in the world, my voice is really high. It's like a goddamn fucking squirrel. It's like a fucking squirrel, and it sounds awful. So what I hear on my ears is not what other people hear from me. So I have to find a way to deepen and change my voice so that what I hear either registers realistically with what I speak, like the pitch of my voice by my ears has to match what other people hear, and that's not possible. You can't actually make that work. So the other way to make this work is just to overall make myself far more accustomed to a much deeper tone in general. So that's something that I need to do. But I believe there are certain limitations. Even when I do vocal training, I've seen some exercises. There are very heavy limitations to what I can do just because you're born with the voice that you have. And that's kind of sad. There's something you can do to extend your what they call vocal range, but again, there are limitations to how high and low your pitch can go. So I'm going to note that down, right? It's interesting, it's fun, but I mean, yeah. Okay, place it here. So let's say vocal training. Well, vocal training for speech, right? For speech. Everyday interaction. And we'll save it like that. Last thing to do, we'll go to YouTube. And so we're on Twitch right now. We're on Twitch. But we want to go to YouTube, and we want to go to YouTube and edit the YouTube studio. Alright, YouTube studio. And then we go to live. And we have the 3 live streams after deadpan. Or after if. So how to patch, how to play. So that is respectively September 1st, and August 31st. Or the end of the month. Okay. And we'll go there. Select 2. We're going to go rebirths and video compilations. And click done. Alright. And then we'll go over to video details, rebirth and video compilation, done, save. Okay. Save that. Okay. And then the next one we'll do is, it's giving me a notification that when you leave the page, it will not be saved, but that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Because, alright, there we go. That one's done. The next one we can go to, also down here, so rebirth and video compilation. 1 and 2. Done and save. Go back. And then video details it once again. So it's the third video live stream, the third VOD. And we'll go rebirth and compilation. And so we'll save. Okay. 1 and 2. And click done, and then we move on. Okay. So both of these are finished. Channel content. Channel content. And dashboard. Okay, so we're now done with all the live streams, whether it's on either of the platforms, and we've done the exercises. And what I'm going to do is probably have to get in touch, use the phone. I'll have to end that live stream and then get in touch with my friend and see how he's doing. And then we'll go out, we'll get ready to go out. We're going to do something that we probably shouldn't. Usually I tend to give distance because I don't want to get involved, but I don't want to hold on to this gift here for too long. So I don't know, maybe we will take initiative and go anyways. I don't want to hold on to this, that's all. But I don't know. I'll have to think about that. That's pretty irrelevant. What I'm going to do now is just get dressed. So let's take this textbook and put it to the side. Inside also has some study sheets. I realized that I didn't, it was still folded on the middle. I should probably go check the temperature as well, actually. So CP24 or something. Let's go check the weather. Weather. 2020. Feels 33. So it says there's a thunderstorm risk. I don't really know if we can go out. We're gonna try though. We're gonna try. Do our best. Let's turn this around. Still have to use the washroom. Okay. So turn these books to the side. I think that's about it. I will check on something. I have to ask. I don't think I can avoid this, you know? It's like I can't really avoid it. So I feel like it would be better just to confront this one in particular. I don't want to spend too much time, so I'm going to be very direct about it and ask bluntly, is there a problem? Because I don't know if there is. It sounds like there is. Everything, all the signals are going on. There's so many red flags. There's so many warning signals that there's something wrong. But I keep trying to ignore it because it's not useful or conductive to fitness or health or relationships. But maybe this time I'll make one exception and be as direct as I can and then move on. If hopefully there's nothing, I'm just hopefully wrong about it, right? I just want to be wrong about this completely. I want to be wrong about it. So, but if that's the case, if it's not, then maybe we can find a solution. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep moving. So, yeah, heavy stuff. No details, but heavy stuff. Okay, let me change. One thing I should mention is that I was going to go to church today, but there was something wrong with the relationship, and so again, no details, but for privacy reasons. But the fact is, the relationship didn't work out between several of the third parties, and so we're not actually going to go to the Christian church. It would have been a new experience. I've been to a Buddhist temple, I've been to Hindu temples, I've been to a Catholic church, but I haven't been to a Christian church. Unfortunately, we won't be doing that today. Queuing up. I'll message my buddy after the stream ends. Give me a second. Okay, let's put this on around my neck. Okay, put this on, and we're ready to go. If possible, I'd like him to try a little bit of the coconut alcohol. Let me get the socks as well. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna come back. Give me a second. We're gonna try it. We don't know if it's gonna work, but we're gonna try it. I don't know. I'm gonna assume the best out of people. I always tend to assume the best. Yeah, yeah. I got my shirt on. Okay, I'm also going to put on the neck. Okay, put this on. Okay, that's that. What else do we need? Maybe put on a shirt on, I don't know. Let's get the outside jacket as well. Okay, so what we'll do is, by the way, I want to finish this. This is a Ferrero Rocher, courtesy of my cousin. It's a wedding kind of thing. I could use this right now, to be honest. Okay, very good. Alright, so we're done. I just had some chocolate. And I'm gonna drink a little bit of coconut rum again as well. And then after this, I'm gonna drink it, alright? I'm gonna have a waft. Hopefully it's good. Nice. I like it. Now I should probably put this into the fridge. And I don't know. Drink some water. What else do I need? That's it, you know. Here. I have to. I keep saying I have. I should. No, not I should. Not I have, not I should, not I must. What I can do. And what I could do. What I could do, and what I wanted to do, is actually try rollerblading today. Unfortunately, I couldn't, but I was gonna try running at least. I couldn't do that either. I might have a conversation, so if that's the case, then I might as well just be recording, but I don't know. So if that's the case, I'm gonna turn off the lights. Because then I could have two recording devices, right? one video capture, a second one as well. Okay, so let's get this. All right, I'm gonna get a little bit of. Okay, I'm gonna get a. What else? I think I'm forgetting something. Let me message my friend. Just took a big air shit right now. Okay, take that off. So this live stream is about 2 hours, I realize, and someone down there says "suck these nuts" is his name. I don't know what that emoji is. I don't know what it means. There's a lot of lingo in Twitch that I don't understand. It's like a sparkly face. Pretty sure that's a troll account. You know what? The funny thing is though, I'm actually a lot happier to see that there's a troll account, even if there's like very angry and hateful comments. Like negative attention, it still propels you on growth. So all I'm just going to do is ignore the negative attention, but allow it to fuel the growth of the channel here. But that wasn't a negative comment, ironically. It's just some emojis that I don't know what it means. It looks like a video game, like a retro style gaming. Yeah. Which makes sense because my filter right now is like, my filter applied right now is also a retro style game. It's like a retro style glitchy recording. Okay, so I'm gonna end it, and yeah, I think that's about it. Hold on, let's unplug it first. And before we do that though, what we will I have it on my what can I do? No, this is a good testing. So here's the other device, right? So this one is hard to manage because I can't actually view what's actually being shown. This camera here is like it's so miniature that I can't. Okay, so there is the start button, I believe. There is the mode button, and there is okay, there's the power. So let's turn on the power. Wait. Turn on the power. So it just grew red. But then there's nothing showing on the display. So this is not good. I hope the battery's not dead because there we go. It's got a timer now, 00. And it says 21E. There doesn't seem to be a battery here. It says 21E. No, 312. So that's how much time I have to record. 3 hours and 12 minutes worth of recording. And maybe we can turn the mode. No, what's that? 9:59. That looks like a stopwatch. Okay. Press the start button. Mode. Okay, we press start. Okay. Okay. So the device is glowing now, so that means it's recording. Okay. Interesting. Alright, so we can end the live stream now. I think that works out really well. And it's a video recording. So I'll just clip it onto me. Maybe on my shirt. I don't know. Should be kind of interesting actually to see it work out. And maybe to the side. Yeah. to the side. We'll turn it horizontally, and we'll end the live stream. Okay. So with that, so take care of yourselves, become a strong, responsible, disciplined individual. That's the outro as usual. Take care of your health, your fitness, your finances, your loved ones, your community, and set a positive role model. Work towards improving, if one step at a day, one step at a time. And what else? I wish that you are able to overcome the negative aspects as well as strive for the positive aspects in life. So this is the Ahn Rho Project. Thank you for tuning in. And I'm going to end it now. And we're going to leave. Okay. All right, ending live broadcast. Okay.